for watching Numbskull News. And today we're going to talk about the need. The SEC needs FSU. They need Clemson. Now, this is according to some jackhole over there at the USA Today, right? Which is, that's supposed to be a legit news outlet. They print out and publish legit news articles. Now, I was made aware of this by Greg Flugar, College Football's Peek Around the Corner. So I want to appreciate him for making me aware of a jackhole. Now, he already hit him up a few different ways, but I'm going to go through this and do it my way. Which is not so nice as some. Anyway, let's go. All right, first of all, let's get this idiot's name. Oh, yes, Matt Hayes. Matt Hayes, today's idiot. So let's go through this damn article. Let me take you back to 2024, an offseason of discontent in the ACC. Florida State and Clemson so desperately wanted out of a cash-strapped conference, they were willing to pay nearly $500 million to do it if they could just find any takers. Well, I have not heard that ever. Not heard anything of they couldn't find any takers. Hello, Greg Sankey. Clemson and Florida State on line one. It's your move again. What FSU did to the SEC heavyweight Alabama last weekend and what Clemson nearly did to LSU should make it clear what was obvious all along to Sankey, the most powerful man in college sports and SEC commissioner, anyone else in earshot. Florida State and Clemson are SEC schools. They look the part. They play the part. Everything they do screams SEC big boy football. Okay, I can agree with that. Nearly 16 months ago, the SEC turned up its nose at the duo. The last thing they needed was to be blamed again for the contraction, not expansion of the sports elite. Again, have heard jack about the SEC, just flat out turned them down. As far as I know, they couldn't have any talks at all. Nothing was ever reported about them having talks. So that's just wild ass speculation. It almost sounds like a YouTuber. Because we usually get besmirched all the time. Oh, you're not serious. Oh, you're this, you're that. No, I'm not a journalist. I don't have sources or anything else. But others do on YouTube, as the before mentioned Greg Flugar, but he gets crapped on all the time. He gets crapped on by legit people. Oh, it's supposed to be legit people. Let's keep going. But that's all water rushing down the mighty Mississippi now, and directly into the sea of reality after this summer's legal settlement between the ACC, Florida State, and Clemson. The ACC's football heavyweights are leaving the conference on a negotiated date of after the 2030 season or sooner. See, I love this when people throw in some nuggets of like reality, of truth or whatever, but they're still full of shit. If you're the SEC, why not get ahead of the curve and make the move before something funky happens? Because when has something funky not happened in college football? Contraction. He's the only one that calls it contraction, which is weird. It's not contraction. Are there less teams? Are there less teams in college football? No, it's not contraction. What an idiot. If you want to call it consolidation, that makes sense. But contraction? What an... like I said, guys, brain dead. The Big East died. The Pac-12 died. It's still dead, no matter what the Mountain West deserters think. It's not dead. It's not dead. And look, I'm a Big 12 fan. I was happy to see what happened to the Pac-12 happen, but it's not dead. They're rebuilding it. Still alive. It's still making money. They just got 2 new media deals. What a moron. The Big 12 became the American Conference. How did we become the American Conference? Are we making $6-7 million per team? I thought it was 31.7. I thought the payouts were whatever it is, 45, 50 million a year. That's what I thought. But apparently we're the American. I mean, does the American have a Utah or Colorado? Does the American have a TCU? Does the American have a Kansas? Does it have a West Virginia? Does it have an Oklahoma State? All of these schools get badass ratings. Now, Kansas didn't for years, but when they're good, their fans show up. Unlike some other schools out there, when they're good, their fans don't show up. That's all I'm saying. And the American became Conference USA. Again, he acts like Tulane and Memphis, FSU, South Florida. He acts like they don't matter. What an asswipe. And Conference USA became the championship subdivision of football. No, it didn't do that either. It didn't do that either. Conference USA, look, it's a lower conference, it FBS, but it's a fun conference. So shut the hell up. So if you're Sankey, you pick up the phone when Clemson and Florida State presidents call again, because at some point they will, and reply with one simple yet resounding plan of action. The Tigers and Seminoles pay all exit fees and leave no monetary or legal strings attached to the ACC, and they're welcome in the SEC. Because the narrative of FSU and Clemson don't bring value to the SEC has always been a straw man argument. Now that I will absolutely agree with. That's always been bullshit. It's always been bullshit. Mainly the SEC and Big Ten, because he's just saying the SEC, but really the SEC and the Big Ten, they don't want to get caught up in some BS and some legal wrangling. However, you pick up the phone when Clemson and Florida State presidents call. Who the hell says they haven't called? They can now. The settlement has been reached. There's an end date. You don't think there's been some third-party talks or second-party talks? Hell, maybe even first-party talks. We don't know. God, this freaking guy. No one believes that a team that has played in 7 of the 11 college football playoffs, won 2 by beating, Alabama, doesn't bring value to the SEC. No one believes Florida State, one of the top television properties in college sports, even during a 2-10 season, doesn't add value to the SEC. Again, I strongly have to agree with that. That doesn't mean he's not full of shit. They didn't want to take a blowtorch to the ACC like the Big Ten did to the Pac-12. They're lovers, everyone, not fighters. So what do you call it when they take Texas and Oklahoma from the Big 12? That's a pretty damn big blowtorch. Good Lord. Can't even get history right. The SEC presidents know the Seminoles and Tigers would be mega athletic financial additions to the conference, on the level of Texas and Oklahoma. No, they wouldn't be. Now, I'm not saying they're far off. I'm not saying they're raging dog shit. They're not. But on the same level as Texas and Oklahoma, no, buddy. They're not on that level. But like I said, just not far. They're not far. They're great adds to the SEC. The bully on the block hasn't won a national title since 2023 and was knocked to its knees in Tallahassee and Columbus, nearly in Clemson to begin the season. Hold on. See, this is where this guy gets really stupid. Alabama has officially lost its mojo. No, it kind of hasn't. They had a bad week against a really good opponent. I mean, no one knew that Florida State was going to be that good, but I kind of suspected so. No, Alabama, are they kind of a little bit down from where they were? Maybe. But that's to be expected. That's to be expected when Nick Saban retires, that you're going to lose a step or two. But you think Alabama is not going to win another title? Of course they are. LSU has lost its voodoo since 2019. Well, they look pretty damn good right now. They have to be one of the favorites to win the SEC right now. I know it's after week 1, But hell, I had them in the conference title game. Part of one of my predictions. LSU, they got titles, man, and not that long ago. And Texas has temporarily lost its inheritance. Sorry, Arch, it's too easy. Texas is going to be just fine. Arch Manning, more than likely, is going to be just fine. I'm not going to freak out over a bad game in Ohio State. Are you kidding me? How many people go up there and get their ass whooped? And that was a close game. Arch may have played badly, but good Lord, that's his first game, first start, as far as starting on the road as the quarterback of Texas. I'm not going to read that much into it. And I don't like Texas. I don't like the SEC. But this guy is... and he doesn't stop. Georgia has been very un-Georgia the last 2 seasons. And the next time Florida, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, or Oklahoma win a game of significance, not against each other, will be the first time in years. Okay. See, at this point, I'm not even going to bother looking that up, but that doesn't feel true to me. Maybe that's kind of true with Oklahoma. Probably true with Texas A&M. I don't know about Florida or Tennessee, though. I don't know. A game of significance. So if you beat Alabama, that doesn't mean anything? I don't know. I'm not saying any of these teams did beat, Alabama in the last few years. But to think that, look, is the Big Ten kind of on top right now? Yeah, they've won 2 in a row. How many did the SEC win in a row? I'm sure one of you SEC people that watch a few of my videos can tell me, whether that be the Nick Saban era or whatever era, in the last 20 years, how many SEC championships were there in a row? Because it feels like quite a few. It feels like they won a lot. I mean a lot. Not just Alabama. Mostly Alabama. Georgia's won, a couple? Alabama? I mean, didn't Georgia go back-to-back right before Ohio State and Michigan won the last 2? I mean, they're very un-Georgia-like. Well, they were in the playoffs last year. Oh, they lost the first time. The first time we had a 12-team playoff, an actual playoff. They lost to Notre Dame. And the way it looked to me, Notre Dame went on one hell of a run and damn near won a national title. So, I mean, that's not exactly a bad loss for Georgia. So, I don't know what the hell. I know this is difficult for the good folks at the SEC offices in Birmingham, Alabama to hear, but the Big Ten has put space between itself and the SEC on the field and as a revenue-generating entity. Look, the Big Ten makes a little bit more money. It's not a shit ton more. Let's get that straight. And as far as space between itself on the field, they won 2 national titles. Look, this wasn't USC or Nebraska or Wisconsin, someone new stepping up. It's the 2 usual suspects. It's Ohio State and Michigan. If it was Penn State, I'd be like, okay, that's a little different than the usual fare from the Big Ten winning titles. If it had been Oregon, I'd been like, oh, look at this shit. Anybody, I don't care, Maryland, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa. Have they finally found an offense? I mean, look, the Big Ten, you have to say the Big Ten's on top right now. All right, right now. But I am not counting out the SEC. The kind of money that they pour into those programs and have always poured into those programs. No. No, this is a dumbass argument from this guy. More than anything, the SEC must be proactive and continue to reinvent. Because what's elite one season could very easily be Mississippi State the next. You're telling me Alabama is Mississippi State. You're now trying to tell me that Georgia, 1-0 Georgia, is Mississippi State. LSU, like I said, LSU just went to Clemson and got a big time win. Look, I'm not saying the SEC is going to stay dominant like they've been forever. They were always going to come down a little. And we're seeing a little. They ain't that bad. They ain't that far off from still being dominant. Last year they got 3 teams in the playoffs. 3 teams. Out of all of them, Texas looked the best. That's the truth. But Texas is now in the SEC. Oklahoma is now in the SEC. That is a powerhouse conference in football. Hell, in basketball, all but 2 of their teams got into the freaking NCAA tournament. That's such a moronic statement. Like I said, I'm no SEC fan. I'm no Texas fan. I'm not a fan of Alabama. I'm not a fan of Georgia or LSU or any of those teams. I respect those guys. I respect the SEC. But I don't really like them that much. I laugh my ass off when they do lose or they are a little down. But let's be realistic. They're not that far down. They're still making ass tons of money, rolling in money, rolling in wins. They're still putting shit tons of kids into the NFL. The SEC is still the SEC. Okay, they're not winning championships every single year. Oh my God, it's only been 2 years. He acts like it's been 20. Dude, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. It's been 30 years. 30 years since we tasted sweet, sweet victory at the end of the season. All right, not 2. This guy's a joke. An absolute unadulterated joke. Does he have it right with Florida State and Clemson on why they should add them? No. I mean, he made a few solid points there, but he had to play Ring Around the Rosie with some retarded shit first. And the whole crapping on the Big 12, crapping on Conference USA, crapping on the American, crapping on the Pac-12. Boy, this guy likes to just throw out crap, doesn't he? I mean, for like a little know-nothing, nobody, no name, freaking journalist from USA Today. Who gives a damn about that? Not when you got The Athletic, you got CBS, you got ESPN, you got all these other outlets with way better journalists, with way better records, who write, frankly, a lot better. This guy writes like a freaking middle schooler. Let me take you back. Shut up. What a freaking moron. Look, y'all. There ain't nothing wrong with watching YouTubers. Some of them may have a couple of sources. Some of them may not. But damn. They ain't just coming out and just taking a big old dump all over everything. Because I'm a writer for USA Today and I know shit. No, you don't know shit. And that's the point. This is why I'm always... Dude, I don't have a problem going against national writers, big-time writers from big-time freaking journalistic places. You can all kiss my ass because everything is speculation right now. We're still years out from any movement that's going to go on with ACC teams going to the Big Ten or the SEC. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone's free to speculate out their ass. Just call it that. If you want to look or try to find people out there that are respectable, that you enjoy listening to, that you can take partially seriously, people that say, hey, this is speculation. There's no reporting, there's no proof, there's no jack shit. This is just what I think. And sure, they could be serious people with sources and all that, but they could still come out and say, well, I'm speculating based off of what I'm hearing. Cool. This asshole wants to come out here like he's just, he's, it's from God's mouth to his ear and then to his article. Are you kidding me? He's nobody. He's nobody. Just like the rest of us scumbags here on YouTube. Just wanted to throw that out there. Because, it's, even the biggest dumbass can get a few things right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. The sun shines on a dog's ass some days. It's just like I care that you happen to get something right. You happen to speak a little truth before you just, pulled down your pants and took a dump all over the dinner plate. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some more crap later. Bye.